All right. This is David Washington, and this is the David Washington Show. Today, I have a special guest. We are doing a profile of members of the Black Consultants Group, an organization that I am a part of. And today, we have Holli Holliday, Jedi Master and CEO of Holliday Advisors, and also president of Sisters Lead Sisters Vote. Holli, a warm welcome to the David Washington Show. Thank you for being here with me. That
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
is excellent. And we'll get right into it. Tell me, who is Holli? And let us know a little bit about Holiday Advisors and Sisters Lead Sisters Vote.
Hmm. Well, to know who I am is to understand that I am a Black woman born in Kansas City, Missouri, where I have deep Midwestern roots.
All
You
right.
never know how Midwestern you are until you move to the East Coast. And I know, having lived on the East Coast, that I am truly a Midwestern girl. I have started my career as an employment discrimination attorney, then ran worked in politics on the campaign side for many, many years. Ultimately, that led to organizational work where I was executive leadership in a couple of different organizations, and then decided to focus in through Holliday Advisors on helping people do all of the things that I had done throughout my career. So Holliday Advisors represents the culmination of my work to make sure that we have equity and inclusive strategies. Our firm works about 90% of my clients are organizations that are committed to progressive advocacy. I say that my clients are the people who change the world,
All
and
right.
I help them to be able to make sure that the world is included and all the people in it. So that's what we do at Holiday Advisors. As a part of that, we have three verticals. One is workplace culture. The second is political strategies. And our third and newest vertical is digital content.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And tell us about Sisters Lead Sisters Vote.
Because when you don't have enough to do, uh, you go and you get with some very important Black women leaders who are looking for additional support for Black women's political leadership. And they convince you that it'd be a great idea to co-found with them a C4 organization, which is Sisters Lead Sisters Vote. And essentially, what we do, we started with this premise um, that we just needed to be more focused on making sure that Black women could serve at every level,
Mhm.
with the ambition of having a Black woman president, a Black woman on the Supreme Court, a Black woman governor, Black woman in the Senate. Although at the time we started, we had one, we lost it, so we're going backwards, but we're catching up.
Sure.
Uh, and then really, we felt like that would be both symbolic, but more importantly, would say something about who we are as a nation and a country, that it's important to recognize that Black women's leadership needs to be in all the spaces. And ultimately, that's what Sisters Lead Sisters Vote does. We do it through the amplification of Black women's voices, leadership, and politics.
Excellent. And so this is nationwide.
Yes.
Excellent. How
Yeah.
many people are involved? How many members?
Yeah, so we don't have a membership model, but what we do is work in partnership. So I would say we work in 2022, we worked in 21 different states,
Oh wow.
um, organizing and supporting Black women's leadership where they were. So that includes everything from organizing conversations and events for Black women leaders to even know each other and be able to support each other.
Okay.
We also run a training academy called the Clapback Academy.
Oh really?
Yes, that's to fight mis and disinformation, which we know is one of the chronic um, negative impacts that happen to Black women uniquely. When Black women decide to run, and particularly in historic spaces, the first thing that happens is what I call the disrespect, dishonor, and disregard tour. And so we created the Clapback Academy to train Black women to be able to respond and manage that type of information, particularly online, but also in print and broadcast media.
Wow, that is impressive.
Oh, I
Very
forgot the
impressive.
research. And we're
Ah,
doing a big research project where we capture information on all Black women running for office. And if you're watching this and you're a Black woman running for office, definitely go to Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote website and let us know that you're running, because we crowdsource and do in-depth research to identify every single Black woman running for every single office, no matter what it is. If you're on the ballot, we want to find you. In 2022, we were able to identify 832 Black women who ran for office
wow.
in all but 6 states.
Really?
And we have a bunch of research that's coming out around that work that we've done and information that we've captured. This will be our baseline report, but we plan to continue capturing that data and information for as long as we can continue to get funding for it.
Excellent.
For the near future.
Wow. Holly, does it matter what campaign or what race that particular candidate is running in? Is it state level and higher, or local at like the alderman or commissioner level?
It does not matter. We capture every race. So that's how we were able, for instance, to determine that for probably the first time in history, we had Black women somewhere running at every level of
Mhm.
government, from
Yes.
school board to sheriff to attorney general to state constitution office, the federal offices, obviously. Every single office that was on the ballot somewhere in this country, there was a Black woman running for it.
True. That's
Um, and so we capture it all. We think it's important to capture it all because we also recognize that whether Black women win or lose, the fact that they're on a ballot represents that they have some leadership in their community.
true.
Um, and we will hear from them again, if not on the ballot, in another way. And this allows us to be able to amplify and make sure that their leadership is seen, because the biggest part of being one of the biggest issues that we have with Black women is that, again, that tour of disrespect and dishonor and disregard starts,
Mhm.
and so much of their leadership gets erased.
Wow.
We not on our watch though.
Did you all follow the Val Demings race for Florida
Absolutely.
senator? Yes.
Absolutely, we did. Absolutely, we did. And we worked with our partners in Florida to help them educate folks about the fact that she was running, about the possible history of her race. But Val Demings is certainly an example of someone who, uh, although she was not successful in that race, it doesn't mean that she's not still a leader and a
Correct.
voice in Florida.
Excellent. We'll talk a little bit more about Florida.
All right.
However, as a kind of like a segue, I want to talk about your Jedi series,
Mm,
the Jedi
lunch break
Lunch Break
time.
Live. I saw my very first episode. You're about 10 weeks into
Yep.
the Jedi Lunch Break Live. It stands
Yep.
for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Jedi.
Yep. Yep.
And I thought it was really good. And Holly, the production value is on point. It is on
Well,
point.
it helps when you have a whole digital content vertical in your company that can produce your show. So you see how it comes together.
Yes, well done. I know we're getting there. We're renovating a office space and getting our studio together in partnership with another network. But wow, it's very impressive, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and how you broke it down, what to expect, what to look for in a company in regards to addressing those diversity, equity, and inclusion issues and justice.
Yeah, let me tell you, I started that series because trust me when I tell you, I am not an on camera type person. I like to
Oh,
be
you do
back
well.
in the cut. I want to help solve problems, I want to help push other people out. Um, but I found out, and it was so, as even with the Supreme Court decision last year, but certainly in the last couple of years, as companies and organizations have decided to make a bigger investment in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And now that it's been a few years since that trend has been growing,
Correct.
so many people, individually, employees, are finding themselves asking the question, well, what's changed? Is it different? Um,
Mhm.
do I even understand what I'm supposed to be getting out of all of this? And so I started getting a lot of questions from people at all different levels around this work and not really having a and honestly, the field has changed and grown exponentially in the last few years, and you have a range of experience for folks in that space. And because I've been doing this work for a really long time, and it started with the legal background and
Okay. Yeah.
expanded into culture since then, I thought, you know what? Instead of trying to answer these question ones and twos, why don't I just answer them? Because I had gotten quite a few of them. Why don't I go on LinkedIn and just answer them a
Yeah.
little bit at a time? And like most people, I'm busy, so 15 minutes or less is about all I'm going to do. Some of the segments may just be 5 minutes, and none of them will ever be longer than 15. That's right.
Right.
Your
Right.
hair's
Yes.
coming on down. This is a mess. It's okay.
I
Gonna adjust. Um, and
love it.
and so that's how it was born. And we've gotten great response from it. I didn't even really do it with the anticipation of getting more clients, but I've actually attracted a few clients as a result of it.
Excellent.
So that made me go, oh, well, I better pay attention to what I'm saying to folks.
Mhm.
But no, seriously, I just wanted to help people. I just wanted to empower people in their workspace, especially Black people, um,
Mhm.
but really all people, because we spend so much time at work, and even though some of us are working from home now or remote, that has even changed the way culture looks. And I've got some shows coming up where I talk about what DEI looks like from home, because that is still a thing. You still experience
Yeah.
bias and microaggressions. You still may experience forms of retaliation. You may experience slights in the way in which you're being asked to participate or show up or exist in meetings. And so all that's still a thing, even though we are
Right.
virtual. So we got some stuff coming up that I still got to get to.
Right.
I thought it would be like an 8 week thing, and I'm 10 weeks in, and I still have content. So I don't know how long it's gonna last.
I think that 15 minutes of content that easily digestible for people, professionals who are on the run. I really like that concept, and it's great that you're doing this on LinkedIn where the professionals are.
Yeah.
And I know there's other platforms, but however, LinkedIn and again the production value, the information is great. It seems to be the best place for that type of content.
Thank
And with everything that's going on with diversity, equity, and inclusion issues, especially here in Florida,
you. Boy,
woo!
Florida.
It'll talk
Boy.
about the pushback.
Yeah.
Wow. We saw four VP level executives be either stepped down or removed from their DEI um, positions, and they
Mhm.
were all women of color.
Mhm.
Um, is there a pushback now in regards to this particular invaluable issue?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this. There's always been a pushback. There's never not been a pushback. So
Mhm.
what I like to level set for folks is that now we have some very definitive places that we can point to where we can say, oh, they're pushing back in that space. But the reality is, and as people of color who do work, and for anybody from a marginalized community, you've been feeling the pushback your entire professional life.
True.
So this is not the fact that they are now continuing to double down on the codification of it is just the next iteration.
Yes.
But we wouldn't even have a space where we needed to talk about justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion if the systems which currently exist were not still based on oppressive mechanisms, and if we were not feeling oppressed in them. So we start with the point of systems were designed systemically for oppression, period. If there
Okay.
is a change in them, which is the work that I do,
Hmm.
then maybe people are slowing the rate of change. Maybe you have
Right.
less people interested in change, but it is not a pushback against what we're doing. It is a shoring up, if you will, of what already exists. We
Okay.
already have a systemically oppressed situation. And what you see in the passage of these laws is simply the system shoring up its current system of oppression.
Holly, do you see now that we are in the thick of the 2024 election cycle? Do you
I know.
do
What
you
happened?
and this the election cycle moves further ahead up in the schedule in the calendar when Donald Trump decided to announce on, I think it was November 19th, right after the midterm elections, that he's running for president. I told my team, my peers, and my potential clients at the time, the election cycle starts now. It's moving further ahead in the calendar. With
Yep.
that being said, there's so many. One particular issue, access to women's health, abortion care, was one of the driving forces to Democrats winning unexpectedly during the midterms. Do you see diversity, equity, inclusion issues as we see those issues play out here in Florida? Do you see those particular issues taking a higher level of respect in the coming campaigns?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, the politics of Donald Trump is equal to, and frankly, the poster child for the politics of division. And so, folks who are um, part of that belief system and that value system that he brings to politics are about creating those levels of divisions. And progressive folks who are fighting back against it are about the politics of inclusion. It is just diabolically the opposite of. And so you're either on one or the other or on the fence. And so even in the support of women's reproductive health, we saw not only a pushback from women, but, notably, I believe the win was not just because of the women's piece, but because of how
Okay.
intentionally inclusive, the pushback was. That it was not that while it started out and has typically been seen as a white woman's movement,
Hmm.
there's no question that the face of the pushback included everybody, not just all women, but frankly, all men as well. And so I think, not to mention the intentional inclusion of the queer community. So I think that the win of women's health was the win of inclusion.
Hmm.
And so, certainly, with that as a precedence, I certainly think you're going to see something very similar as it relates to DEI, specifically being a part of our legislative cycle, as we now see more than 300 pieces of legislation across this country in the anti DEI space, dealing with everything from businesses to sports.
Hmm.
That you're going to see that this again is another way to delineate where people's values are and whether or not they are about the value of inclusion or the value of division.
Wow, indeed, you're right. I feel pretty much the same that you do. I think you're right on that piece. Um, Is there a quote or some words of wisdom you can leave for our viewers and listeners?
Well, I think the first thing I would say is in the political space, what you have to know is politics is a team sport.
Hmm.
And so it is important that you get on a team. And so if you are a person who is concerned about your reproductive health, if you're a person who is concerned about the way in which diversity, equity, inclusion is advanced in this country, which is not anything other than tearing down oppressive systemic systems. If you're a person who is concerned about student debt, if
Ah,
you're a person who believes that we need to have a more forward facing equality of rights for all people, then it's time for you to get on a team to make it happen. And 2024 is going to be an excellent opportunity for us to
indeed.
let America know through who we decide to vote for in our leadership of which team we're really on.
Indeed, indeed. 24 is going to be exceptional. The saying goes that every election is important. Well,
That's right.
or that specific year, that election is the most important. Is that no, every year is important. Every municipal race, every local race, county race, state race, federal race, it's
That's
important to be engaged and to be an active participant in our representative democracy.
right.
Where can our viewers and listeners find you on the interweb?
On the interweb, I am way more places than I ever thought I would be in my life on the interweb. But they can find me. You can find Holliday Advisors on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and Facebook. You can find Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We have just this week also launched a platform for Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote on Spill. So I'm excited to see
All
what
right.
that space looks like. And we are considering Thread. I don't know. It's
Yes,
kind of a little culture war going on between
I know.
Spill and Thread, and we'll figure that out.
Yes.
But I would say, yeah, that's it. And you can pretty much Google my name and find me everywhere.
Excellent, excellent. I hope that we can do a collaboration on a project, or
Yes.
again on my
Yes.
podcast, have you on one of my other podcasts or whatever.
Yes. I have
It's
a great idea for us. We need to have a conversation about this Black woman, Black men space and talk about what that really looks like. I think that's what we need
Woo!
to do.
Oh, Holly. Oh
I'm just
my.
saying, let's tease the viewers. Let's give them what they want.
Okay, all right, all right. As my mom would say, David, don't hold back. You're very demure. You're very reserved. Sometimes she's like, let it loose. Come on, politics. So I like that idea. I really do, and I'll look forward to the opportunity. Is there any closing comments you'd like to make?
David, you've been an excellent host, and I think we have covered so much. I will leave it quite there and look
Okay.
forward to our next conversation.
You have been a phenomenal host, a phenomenal special guest. I really, really appreciate it. This means so much to me. I know the years that I've been, I think 2 or 3 years I've been with the Black Consulting Group. And thank you, Neil Carter. I really appreciate the
Yes,
opportunity to
snap
reach out.
deal.
Indeed. Neil, thank you. I really wanted to elevate us and people that look like us and people in this space. And I said to Neil, I want to do this. And do I have permission to reach out to the membership and offer this opportunity? And this is the very first one, Holly, I've done with members of the group, and
Look at
this
you
was
setting the bar high. No, I'm kidding.
this is phenomenal, and I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is the David Washington Show. Holli Holliday from Holliday Advisors and president of Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote. She is the Jedi Master. Thank you. Please like, share, especially this episode. People have to get to know Holly. Like, share, comment. We'd love to hear your comments and hit the notification button. We're out of here.